I remember thinking, as I pulled into the parking lot, that I'd done everything right this time. The kids were dressed. I'd packed snacks just in case. I'd reminded myself quietly, firmly, not to expect warmth, just civility. That had become my definition of hope-say, aiming low enough that disappointment wouldn't bruise. Inside, the restaurant was already loud with holiday noise. Plates clattered. Someone laughed too sharply. My parents were seated near the window, my sister beside them, coffee cups half empty like they'd been there a while. My dad saw us first. He didn't stand. He didn't wave. He smirked. "Well," he said, voice pitched to carry just far enough, "your presence always makes things harder. You should probably leave." It landed like a joke that had been rehearsed. My sister laughed immediately. Not surprised, loud or comfortable laughter. The kind that knows where it stands. I felt the old instinct rise, smooth it over. Say something light. Pretend it hadn't cut. But then my daughter tugged my sleeve. "Why didn't Grandpa want us?" she whispered. Children have a way of stepping straight through the defenses adults build. I looked at my dad. He was already turning back to his menu. The moment had passed for him. I didn't argue. I didn't explain. I didn't give him the satisfaction of watching me absorb it. I knelt to my kids' level and said, "Let's go home." That was it. No raised voices. No dramatic exit. Just coats back on, chairs pushed in. I felt eyes on my back, confused, irritated, embarrassed, but no one stopped me. No one apologized. Outside, the air was cold and clean. The kids buckled in quietly. They didn't cry. That almost made it harder. As I drove, my son asked, "Did we do something wrong?" "No," I said. "Sometimes adults are wrong." I didn't add anything else. I wasn't ready to explain the kind of wrong that doesn't apologize. An hour later, my phone rang. I didn't answer. It rang again. Then again. Finally, a voicemail came through. My mom's voice was tight, rushed. "Why is the bank card locked? We can't even pay the brunch tab. Call me back right now." I sat at the kitchen table, my kids eating the grilled cheese I'd made without thinking. I listened to the message twice, then set the phone down. The card wasn't theirs. It never had been. It was mine, opened years ago when my parents asked for help, just temporarily. Over time, it became convenient, normal, automatic. No one asked anymore. I'd never locked it before. There had always been a reason not to. Until now, the calls escalated. Texts followed. "This is ridiculous. You're embarrassing us. Handle your emotions later. Fix this now." I didn't respond. I imagined them sitting there, menace folded, the server hovering politely. I imagined my dad's smirk fading, replaced by irritation, then something closer to panic. Not because of me, but because systems don't care about family dynamics. Restaurants need payment. Eventually, my sister called. "What are you doing?" she hissed. "They're threatening to call a manager." "They should," I said. "You're punishing everyone over a joke." I thought about that, about how quickly cruelty becomes humor when it's familiar. "I'm not punishing anyone," I said. "I'm not paying for a table I wasn't welcome at." She hung up on me. Later, my mom finally reached me when I picked up. "You could have handled this differently," she said. "You didn't have to humiliate us." I stared out the window at my kids playing on the floor, unaware of how often adults decide what's bearable for them without asking. "I handled it the only way I could," I said. "I left." "And the card?" "It's locked." Silence. Then, softer, "You know we rely on that." I didn't know. That was the problem. "You relied on me staying quiet too," I said. "I'm done with that part." She didn't argue. She didn't apologize. She just sounded tired. "Well," she said finally, "this changes things." "Yes," I agreed. "It does." Nothing exploded after that. Things just shifted. Invitations became tentative. Conversations more careful. My dad didn't call. My sister acted as if nothing had happened, which was its own kind of statement. I didn't unlock the card. We paid our own bills, ate our own meals, built holidays that didn't require bracing ourselves at the door. Sometimes, late at night, guilt still crept in, not for leaving, but for how long I'd stayed before, for what my kids had already learned about swallowing discomfort to keep the peace. But when I think back to that moment in the restaurant, to my daughter's question, I know I made the right choice, even if it cost me something I once called unconditional love, because love that requires silence isn't unconditional. It's just control dressed up as tradition. And I'm done teaching my kids that lesson.